And so that's kind of what we're doing, and we've been moving pretty fast, and it's been absolutely awesome.
How many cities are you right now?
So right now we are in 11 cities across the country, and now next year we'll be adding 5 more.
So we've got a number of rowers here, and as a former rower athlete, what's a message you'd like to leave them with? Those who are still young.
Still young. I see them in the audience. I mean, honestly, like rowers, so many lessons I learned from rowing. I would say the biggest lesson comes from the lesson of the coxswain. How many coxswains do we have there? I see them in that. I see some. So coxswain is, for those who don't know, it's usually the smallest person who's right at the front of the boat. And so if this was a boat, the coxswain's here, and Michael is in stroke seat, and everyone behind him is in the boat rowing. And our complaint usually towards the coxswain was like, you don't know what it's like to be us. You're not working that hard. You're not doing the labor. Like, why are you doing all the yelling and all the talking? Like, you don't understand. You don't have to sit on the earth. You don't get it. You don't get it. Like, that was our complaint towards the coxswain. Like seriously, like, relax. This is hard. And at times we didn't feel like that they was kind of a part of our team. We always say 8, right? But what some people don't know is that when you have to race a coxswain, has to get up early, you have to have this coxswain meeting. While we're sleeping, when the rowers are sleeping, the coxswain has to study the course. The coxswain has to make sure that these guys and girls don't hit a brick wall. Their job is to make sure you get to the other side as safe as possible. Right? My success comes from the lesson of the coxswain. I had to realize that your mother, my mother, my grandmother, my mentors, my teachers were my coxswains. If there was times I didn't consider them a part of my team, like I would tell them the same way, you don't know what it's like to be young. You don't know what it's like to be me. You don't get it. You don't understand it. Like, stop. Like, study. But what you don't understand is that the parents have studied the course. They've been there. They see what you don't see. And their job is to make sure that you don't hit a brick wall, that you get to your finish line as safe as possible. And until you realize that they're part of your team, it's going to be really hard to get to that finish line. And so that's the number one lesson I've ever known, is to make sure to trust my coxswain, because they've been there and they see what I don't see. And so until we become one in that, with your parents, your teacher, your mentor, your coaches, and your team, it's going to be pretty tough and easy to hit that brick wall. And so that's the lesson I have for young people.
We talked about the foundation, and obviously that's growing quickly. You thought about writing another book?
Oh, man. So, actually, this will be the first time I'm going to say this. I'm going to open up for Q&A. So, basically, this is one that I've been like, she's like the top of the top. She's at HarperCollins, #2 publishing company in the world, named Judith Kerr. And she published The Alchemist. She did The Secret. She did Viola Davis Finding Me. She did 50 Cent's book. They sold millions of copies. She did Condon, new book, Still I Rise. And she just did the Pope's book in Rome. She just in Rome doing the Pope book in Pope Francis. And her next book will be Arshay Cooper's book. That's the last week. Now, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing. It's emotional for me because because like this book deal is huge. I never dreamed of it. Like a kid who grew up eating syrup sandwiches and missing a day or two of work, of school every week. A kid who had to wash his own clothes and he didn't drive at night and go to school with wet clothes. A kid who had no food at times. A kid who failed the 8th grade. A kid who 8th grade teacher said he would die before he's 18. And when you turn on ESPN and you see a football player running in for a touchdown, we start clapping, we start shouting. And sometimes, we want that. And what we don't see is that the amount of first downs it took to get over there, the team huddles, the timeouts you needed, the people around you who had to take the hits for you to even get there, the missed catches, the times that you were open and it felt like no one seen you. And that success, with Judy Kerr is amazing. But for young people, I also want you to know is that, sometimes we want lightning to strike right away. But you have to have something in you to attract the lightning. And for me, it was commitment and forgiveness and self-control and respect and grit. And before I got that yes from her, I did well with this book. I had 6 publishing groups a month ago told me no, like this book is not good enough. This next book that I'm writing, it's not good enough. It's almost depressive. Like why? I feel like this is going to reflect the world that we want to see. And but those people I reached out to were people I knew I could get, and they said no. And Judith was someone I didn't know. But I kept working hard. I proved it. And first down, and I landed this deal. So for everyone out there, no matter what scene you are in your movie, whatever chapter you are in your book, I want you to know that it's not the full story. Because in one chapter, I failed the 8th grade. In another chapter, our boat hit a brick wall, right? But it wasn't the whole story. So your touchdown is coming, but you have to just keep pushing and keep moving forward. And so that's my message for you guys.
Are you in charge of the mic?
Yes, so
Okay.
Amy and I will have 2 mics. We will walk around, so if you have a question, please raise your hand. If you're upstairs, we'll help either try to bring it to you or just come to the bottom of the stairs. But Arshay, in order for us to have 2 mics, if you could turn off your lapel mic, then you can keep your hand held, and then we can have the 2 mics on.
Which one is you?
One in the back. All right, it's on.
You were yours.
Okay, if you have a question, please just raise your hand. We'll bring the mic.
Is your mic on? Bart, the mic's on. It's on.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll just ask a question. So I've done a little bit of youth work, and an issue that I found was working with kids, young people who, despite all the resources being given to them, still there was just a disconnect in the need or the desire to do what is quote unquote right. My question is to you is how can I, as a mentor to these young people, what is the best way that I can support them and show them to a better understanding of what to do in life, or how can I direct them in the right direction as far as going and doing better with their lives?
Yeah. Number one, it's going to take time. It wasn't overnight for me. Not everyone took, for me it took 14 years of undoing, before I really got the sense of every single thing, right? If you saw the movie and the guys on my team, you know, some people got it right away, some people didn't, but what remained was the coaches and the mentors every day still showing up, being patient with them. And I think that what I would love mentors to know is that I talk about this in my book. If you go to a bank and you try to get a withdrawal without making any deposits, it's going to say it's sufficient funds. You're not going to get it, right? But if you make a deposit, you will always get a withdrawal. The only time I really kind of heard from people and mentors is when, hey, you're not doing this right. Or why can't you just get it? You have all this in front of you, what's up? And they never got a withdrawal. But the coaches and the mentors like Ken and Victor, who showed up at our house, who was so patient with us, who took us downtown, who asked our friends, what is he like? Who asked us those questions, what keeps you up at night? What keeps you going? What's your favorite basketball game? Come to my house, I'm going to work with me in the garage. I'm going to teach you how to fix this flat tire. And so, man, we had the worst day. Every time they talked to us, they always got a withdrawal because they made deposits. And sometimes we get frustrated with kids, and we want to withdraw from them, but we don't make deposits. And so really learning about each one of them, and what they like, and what they love, and taking them sometimes to places outside their environment where they can finally think, right? That was kind of the mentorship that really helped with a lot of us. And also it's being able to bring your friends and more adults to come in and speak to these young people, right? If you had a friend who played football, play basketball, or a friend that worked at this company, just bringing more mentors, men and women in to really invest in them because you can't do it alone, right? And so it's just more of that kind of, just making more deposits but not giving up because it's going to take some 2 weeks, it's going to take some 2 years to even get through because they've seen things that they wish they hadn't. And so just persevere, keep doing it, and keep depositing. You're going to get the withdrawal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cynthia, last name Manuel Arshay. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I am also from the west side of Chicago, currently live there. You went to Manley, I went to college, which is literally 3 minutes away. And so I heard about you many years ago. And so growing up, I saw a horse, right? And so from that, I kept the image in my head as well as your story. And so I often tell my kids, I started a youth organization. There's this guy who was just from the same area that you guys were from, and he seen something, and now he's traveling around the world. And so with that being said, that very same horse that I kept in my memory bank, during the pandemic, I went and purchased a horse. So from that, I take inner city kids to barns and to other different places, to rodeos and such, because like you just mentioned earlier, it's hard for a kid to see what they can't dream. So that same very story that you said, that as far as you hearing gunshots and seeing blood, well, my brother didn't make it. He was a victim of that. And so I knew that I wanted my son to grow up with this same visual. And so my son is here, and I'll never forget, we were downtown, and we seen some boats, right? And so I told my son, we got to get involved in the program. And so for some reason, I don't know how, I was able to get in touch with you, and the connection started, and so I just thank God for you.
Thank you so much. Let's talk after, please. Thank you. Yeah. They didn't make it. They asked. There was an after party though. But they're working. Yeah, they